My cousin from Philly just asked why I'm screaming. Why is he yelling in there? Woo! I told him something's taking over my body. Something's taking over my bones. Can you feel it? I can feel it all over. I can feel it all over, puppy. Da 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 da. We are in the genius phase. Can you feel it? Oh, can you feel it? I gotta start a Discord, baby. Everybody looks like a genius during a bull market. And we are in the genius phase. Do you feel like a genius yet? It's really hard to separate yourself from the average and the pack during the genius phase. I'm doing my best. I said I think Apple is going to benefit from a quad witching rotation, and that it was going to end this ABC correction and enter a wave 3 and confirm it's within a wave 3 higher. So nailing the quad witching rotation. Look, we're right going in towards the end of the second quarter. Apple's making new highs. I expect it's going to continue into the next quarter as well. And I'm not the only genius. A lot of you guys are geniuses. Look at this. Did Apple really start wave 3 today after its biggest single day gain since last May? Like, if yes. Or is it just playing with the bulls repost? If yes, only one repost. Whoopsie, but 10 people liked it. The 10 people figured it out. Yes, Apple's playing catch up to the NASDAQ, nailing that rotation. We've got an alpha chase now. These fund managers aren't going to be happy. And there's a lot of embarrassment of riches with some of these very liquid tech stocks. There's now 2 ETFs that just so happen to have their dividends spaced out. One from Curve, KURV, one from YieldMax. They run the exact same synthetic out-of-the-money covered call strategy on Apple. They are AAPY for Curve, and they are APLY, APLY, for YieldMax. YieldMax is just now starting to get positive returns on the blind average test. It had been underperforming, but now the blind average test for APLY is starting to get positive. I suspect it's going to get more positive, and there's going to be dividend capture opportunities from all these high premiums that Apple is now generating from these funds twice a month. And really creative, if YMAG running the strategy with all of the Magnificent Seven, those 7 stocks equal weighted, Apple's one of them. In a way, there's a way to collect 3 dividends selling options on Apple, and with QQQY, the 0DTE put ETF from the NASDAQ, in another way, there's also a way to get 4 dividends a month selling options on Apple, but that's also including the NASDAQ, obviously. Okay, so let's look at Apple right now. Really, that was the bigger bulk of the update. I think it's in medias res. That comes from a Latin phrase in the Odyssey. I think it's a Latin phrase, but in medias res, in the middle of things. So the Odyssey, it just kind of ends in the middle of things. These gods come out of heaven and they kind of just conclude the entire massive book in the middle of things. So I think Apple's in the middle of things. I think it is within this wave 3. We'll get to the targets. I think this is an A, B, C correction, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves impulse. I talked about the fact this was a perfect impulse, making the highest high within wave 3. Shallow wave 4 retest but doesn't break the wave 1 high. Wave 5 is basically exactly the length of wave 1. Places the wave 4 low, makes a lower high on the RSI. So wave 5 ends with Momo. There's an ABC correction, and I had the fibs for this. The extensions were taking these extensions right here. So Apple fell down to the 100 to 161.8% extension, which is where wave 3 ended. The invalidation was 161-ish. I believe I got that from the 50% retracement of this impulse. Yes, the 50% retracement was the invalidation. That's because it's halfway through wave, the length of wave 1, and I was looking for this to be a short wave 2. So 199.62 and that low. I'll get these fibs back on. And we'll talk about targets for Apple in the long term. Maybe I'll get into the daily chart in a different video. Like and subscribe if you want me to do that. You know, you want to cheer for greatness. You want to root for greatness. You want to recognize greatness. You know, I think that's a great idea. 124.17 was that low. So that invalidation was 161.90. Apple didn't break it, and it's within a wave 3, I believe, all the way up to 239. Hard to believe that the NASDAQ itself is going to be crashing during that time. I believe that this is the minimum wave 3 target is 239. The 161.8% extension can be found. I'll just measure this 61.8% extension here, and I'll put that right there. That could give a target up to 246. So really, you know, basically 240 is that wave 3 target before a shallow wave 4. If wave 4 retests the wave 1 high, and wave 5 is at least the length of wave 1 placed at the wave 4 low, Apple could be going all the way in the long term, not in a straight path, up towards the 270s. As far as, you know, obviously that invalidation that I have right there of 164.07 is worthless right now. I think the trend seeker on the Apple weekly is going to give a nice trailing stop. I don't think it's going to be broken until at least that wave 3 of 239 is hit. And bar chart does use Elliott wave and time signals in that trend seeker indicator. And I've talked about how the trend seeker for the weekly chart of the NASDAQ, if you look at that just realistically, you'll probably admit no one's really beaten that over the long term, actively calling bull and bear calls on the NASDAQ and thus the market itself. Let's look at Datadog, another update, another bang, and these aren't the only two, but just for the more recent ones, February 16th, I was looking for Datadog to begin following CrowdStrike's massive rally. CrowdStrike has reached that equal legs target. Datadog was at the 78.6% retracement. I was looking for this to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves up, wave 1, wave A, an A, B, C correction at the 78.6% retracement, and a wave 3, wave C to be in progress. So that was the long-term chart from this low, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, wave 1 and wave 2. I predicted August 26th on National Dog Day. The length of wave 1 placed at the wave 2 low was where wave 3 ended. I'm sure it's just a coincidence that was when Datadog rallied. Anyway, never mind. We're going to be mainstream. The truthers have to be mainstream now. Everyone's decoding Roaring Kitty's post. I'm thinking that guy's actually going to exercise his options on Friday, like Finance Lot said, and that's really going to blow my mind. But anyway, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves up, wave 1, wave A, ABC, wave 2 at the 78.6% retracement. I went a little mad data scientist for the doggos since it's Datadog. A, B, C correction between the 100 to 161.8% extension was where wave C ends. I was looking for this to be a wave 1 and a wave 2. It did reach that minimum target, but I don't think that's a wave 3. I think it's another wave 1 and another wave 2. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and I'm going to tell you guys why. So this wave 3 target, I think, is really going to be 153, but we could be going past that. Remember what I said about the possibility that Datadog follows CrowdStrike within this more aggressive view that I'm going to present. So I think from this low, this is a wave 1 and a wave 2. If I really wanted to zoom in on the subdivision, it appears to be a leading diagonal. It is not the cleanest subdivision, but leading diagonals and expanding diagonals, they are the hardest part of Elliott wave, besides distinguishing between a wave 2 and a wave 4 correction. But that is, in my opinion, a leading diagonal, and I think it also gives credence to the idea that this is another wave 1. What's another one? Well, wave 3 makes a higher high on the RSI in Elliott wave. We haven't made a higher high on the RSI for Datadog. I think wave 3 is still in progress, and we're about to see a wave 3 that breaks 71.16 on the RSI. Let's see. And remember, this is the genius phase. Don't ever forget. It is incredibly, uncannily accurately as I predict the market. Don't ever forget that this is all technically supposed to be impossible. This is all technically supposed to be voodoo, because technically no one knows what's going to happen in the future. Okay, so always remember that. As uncannily accurately as I predict things, never forget that this is supposed to be impossible. Okay, you're not supposed to be watching a video about some guy time traveling and telling you what large cap stocks are doing. Okay, but thank you for doing it. Please like and subscribe. Because I'm the best at what I do, and there are a lot of people in this world who pretend that they know how to do what I do, and I love waking up every day, and I love putting them to bed. I mean, who can do this? This is just Apple and Datadog. Think about all the tickers where I just draw perfectly a 40 to 50% move in a large cap, and then boom, it happens. Anyway, this low is 118.40. This high is 132.90. 40. And so we see the 161.8% extension is 100. That's a little wide from 119. 107, I think, is a good invalidation, but 100 is really the invalidation. And remember, this is technically a move to stop up projection. It's never a recommendation in any sense, but language is meant to be understood. And so I'm just reminding that this is not Datadog's first rodeo, essentially. It started here at the 78.6% retracement. Then the stop got moved up to 73.43. Now the stop's getting moved up to 100 to 107. So good in that regard. I think that this is going to be an ABC correction that ends for Datadog. I think there's a potential we see Datadog is the CrowdStrike of 2024. Of course, CrowdStrike has also been the CrowdStrike of 2024. And they also have in common that I predicted both of them. But not going to take a victory lap on that because Roku is still down. So I'm I don't get them all perfect. I'm still waiting for Roku to catch up and be the next Netflix. I think Datadog being the next CrowdStrike, and Apple following Nvidia, and all of the many other projections that I make perfectly are going to have to do until then. Of course, we all know that Roku is going to bottom the exact moment that YieldMax drops the Roku YMax ETF, just like Snowflake is bottoming at the exact moment as the YieldMax drops the Snowflake ETF, just like Coinbase bottomed at the exact moment YieldMax dropped the Coinbase ETF, just like Disney bottomed at the exact moment YieldMax dropped the Disney ETF, just like PayPal and Square put in super cycle lows at the exact moment YieldMax dropped those ETFs. Probably just a coincidence. They're probably not doing Elliott Wave. Fund managers would never do Elliott Wave because that's too voodoo. Anyway, I think I've ran up my conspiracy tab for this video. Anyway, the YieldMax conspiracy theories, man, I've got them. I've got YieldMax conspiracy theories, man. What's the name of that the Google YieldMax ETF? What's that one called? I own Curves ETF instead. GOOP for Google. Anyway, I think this is a wave 1 and a wave 2. Let's make sure we can see this. Language is meant to be understood. Charts are meant to be legible. Really, the 61.8% retracement here isn't necessary. I'm trying to show what this path could look like. So this wave 3 target, this 161.8% extension in blue is showing this count right here. Wave 1, wave 2. I still think this big black wave 3 is in progress till at least 153. And I'm telling you why I think we're actually going to overshoot that. I think from this low, this is a wave 1 and a wave 2. And we're going to see Datadog enter a wave 3 of wave 3. Boom, right there up to the 170s. for that minimum wave 3 target before a shallow wave 4 and a wave 5 higher. So that's what I'm looking for. Datadog 107 is a nice stop. The real invalidation is 100. Moved up, but I think 107 is kind of the Goldilocks level. Wave 1, wave 2, large wave 3 in black is in progress. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves subdivision is how I think we get there. Let's look at Enphase Energy and then Tesla. I think I've talked about in the big picture this idea that Enphase Energy can follow First Solar and TAN can follow First Solar. Look at my work on First Solar, by the way. Some more incredible calls on that with Coinbase as well, multiple times just drawing massive 50, 60, sometimes 150% moves, and then after the ABC correction, doing it again. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves up for Enphase, and this is an ABC correction at the 78.6% retracement. I'm going to zoom in. We're going to focus on this daily count because I think Enphase Energy gave the confirmation I was looking for. I said I was looking for Enphase to break this high of 139.65. It did. I think this is wave 1 and wave 2. I think this is another wave 1 and another wave 2. I can find a more precise blue wave 3 target by taking these extensions right here. And we see that they line up pretty well. They line up pretty well. I think I just messed them up. Yeah, 156 to 160. I'm going to use this as blue wave 3 target. And then I'm looking for a shallow wave 4 and a wave 5 higher. Wave 5 is at least the length of wave 1, place at the wave 4 low. So we see one of my ways that I like to get the whole sequence is by placing the length of wave 1 at the wave 1 high. That gives a target of 181. I expect we're going to have a shallow wave 4 correction. I'll measure it out, but that could take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves up all the way to 190 for Enphase Energy. Lots of confirmation from an Elliott wave theory perspective, a voodoo, time traveling forecasting perspective that's based on the idea that computer algorithms took over the stock market a long time ago. But some people also think that these Elliott wave patterns are also just the way of the world. The Fibonacci sequence did not come from Elliott wave. It came long before the U.S. stock market ever developed. Anyway, this is 1, 2, wave 3 in black based on that. 1, 2, wave 3, 4, 5 in blue, I think is how we get there. That's Enphase Energy. Tesla, I think we're getting a little bit of a start from Tesla, especially with Enphase Energy and TAN. First Solar exploding to multiple highs on its own is one thing. I don't think that Enphase Energy, TAN, and Tesla are going to stay down right here with First Solar continuing to go up and away. And I think the Elliott wave is supporting that. 1, 2, wave 3, shallow wave 4, and a wave 5 higher. That's a large wave 1 and an A, B, C correction wave 2. And then from this low, I believe this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave 1 and an A, B, C wave 2. What this red Fibonacci sequence is measuring is the length of wave A placed at the wave B high, giving the 100% extension. So I'm going to zoom in a little more on Tesla, and I think that this is a wave 1 and an ABC, wave 2 on the daily count that's formed. 161.75 is the invalidation, very wide. 151, that's too wide right now. But I think this is wave 1 and wave 2. I'm looking for wave 3 to begin. The 161.8% extension, I suspect is going to line up with that 127.2% extension. And boom, it does. So I'm looking for Tesla's wave 3 to be all the way up. The minimum target is 226. I think 235 to 243 is a little more accurate. And then I'm looking for a shallow wave 4 and a wave 5 higher. If wave 5 is the length of wave 1, place at the wave 4 low. If wave 5 is the length of wave 1, place at the wave 4 low. then yeah, I think it's gonna look something just like that actually, and that's Tesla's path to 260. So Tesla has two ETFs, just like Apple, from Yield Max and Curve. It also now has one from. It also now has one from Yield Max that shorts Tesla. It's a very interesting strategy. It sells an at the money call, and then it buys an out of the money call to hedge that has a shorter expiration. It also buys, an at the money put that has the same expiration as the at the money call that's sold, and then it sells a short-term put against that. So that's what they call a synthetic covered put, a synthetic covered put strategy. I believe. I think what it really is a call debit spread paired with a put debit spread. So anyway, what I've wondered is, would it be possible to blend Tesla with CRSH, or to blend TSLP with CRSH and create a short strangle position on Tesla that can be rebalanced, and then the short strangle is going to continue to be collected. Unfortunately, the primary service that I use for calculating total returns, they don't have CRSH in the database yet. They usually have Yield Max ETFs in the database quite quickly. They don't have CRSH in there yet. So I'm kind of worried that it's not going to be in there. Worst case scenario, I'm just going to have to calculate the total returns. But I am still doing a little quantitative homework on that. I wanted to update as far as the Elliott wave goes. I still own Tesla. I still own Tesla, and I believe this is a wave 1 and a wave 2. The minimum wave 3 target is roughly 235 before a shallow wave 4 and a wave 5 higher, possibly all the way up to the 270s and the 280s.